when relating these off-balance forms, these throwing to the corner forms, to basic balance break function, we want to take a look at also not the crossing balance break, the standard outside the arm Arini type balance break here, but also the balance break we wind up with when we're doing shomanate. Standard shomanate, standard shionagi entrance, coming to the inside of the wrist here with either hand, really doesn't matter too much. And typically this is happening as my right foot is encountering it and it's taking it off. Now, if we extend that in its natural line, we wind up with a basic throwing application back to the ukiyo-toshi thing we were just talking about. Right here. I'm offhand and off-footed, opposite-handed footed, but watch it from another side. Just extending to the inside of that wrist and drawing down with this opening hip takes him into a really nice throwing line. Very effortless. Not much power in that at all. So we have this activity with the opposite hand and foot. If we do it with same hand and foot, what do we get? We get this engagement that's the fairly standard thing that we do. In shomanate, we have the touch in the same hand and foot, the back foot turning, engagement at the face, and the pushing off in some particular line. Some people like back here, some people turn them all the way around. Doesn't matter too much. The main thing is what foot are you on? As I reach up to make that position with my hands, if my left foot's going, automatically you have this turning function that takes him out. If my right foot's going, automatically you have the hand change that we build as a reflex. If I'm on the outside of the wrist, we have the standard balance break to that corner, which is a very survivable condition. You can do lots and lots of those with relatively untrained ukes and get a lot of training out of them without doing much injury, because the fall is a face fall. He can, from here he can, put a knee down, put his hands up, lots of things to encounter in that catastrophic condition. If I'm on the other side of the wrist and I take that same forward line, well, then we have the Sumya-toshi form. And so basically we're saying that whether you're on this foot or that foot, whether you're on the inside of the wrist or the outside of the wrist, whichever way you happen to be stepping, at the point of this engagement, this point in space, this intersection of the two bodies, this connection point, whichever foot is going, where it's going, you have things that you want to be training yourself to do, because we cannot predict what you'll actually be doing. From randori activity, from practice with chaos and drill training and under real conditions, we know that as things start to develop, you may or may not know what foot you're on at the time that you're actually, somebody's trying to take a slug at you. And so you might be stuck on one foot right here. Say, oh no, I'm falling back. And I only have one particular step I can take from here to recover from this, which is to put this foot back. Now, as I put that foot back, I only have two hands on him that can do anything with it. And if my training reflexes are right, as I put that foot back, I'll get that. But if my training reflexes are bad and I haven't worked under these conditions of potentiality, I'll get in here and I'll try to make some damn thing go, and wow, he just throws me over my own head. So we need to train to these lines of off balance, these four corners, and to realize how our training regime is setting us up into responding in these four corners in very efficient and automatic ways, because we do not know how it will actually be when the attack really comes. It is, by definition, unpredictable. And so by sort of rolling these potentialities out, the corner that goes like this, the corner that goes like this, the corner that goes like this, and the corner that goes like this, you have a paradigm in terms of your footwork and your handwork that takes a very simple equation of making contact with the man and then extrapolates some really powerful tools from that basic equation. Straight lines and turning lines, basic inside and outside. Not very complex, but very essential so that you can automatically, When you're stuck in a hole, I don't know, I'm stuck on my left foot and my body's tilted forward and I'm picking up the shovel and he comes and starts to attack right there. Wow, what can I do? What can I do? My options are limited in terms of footwork. My posture's already broken. Things are already in a very limited space. I really only have a couple of things. This foot is weightless and has to move. And as it moves, I've only got one hand on the guy. So automatically my nervous system is going, what the hell am I doing with this, right? And my training says, oh, I need to put that foot down, turn that hip, and slide him off right there. That's just coming out of the trained reflexes in the nervous system. It's not a decision. It's not, oh, I want to do this to the guy. It's what the training has imbued. And that goes to what Aikido is doing for us. We think Aikido is teaching us to do shomen-ate, and to do agami-ate, and to do koda-gaishi, and to do techniques. But those are, in the old Zen saying, those are fingers pointing at the moon. What it's really teaching us is that when things come out of the woodwork, when you are stuck flat-footed, when you're stuck standing on one foot, when you're stuck with your hand in your pocket and your other hand reaching and you're standing on one foot and everything's awkward and the attack hits you then, when you're in this completely screwed up state, what you're learning in Aikido is to give you reflexes from that state that give you the optimal performance and outcome from there. And you can be really screwed up. You can be so in such a weak and inferior position relative to the other guy that if your reflex training, your isometrics, internal training, and your reflex skill sets are in place, you have a high probability of doing wonderful things to him. He has you all the way broken back. I'm reaching up, my foot's out, I'm beginning to slip. He's coming into me, he starts to deliver force. He's delivering force into my head. It's all over, isn't it? I'm about to die. And my reflex coming right out of the base of my spine, mind you, not out of a conscious thought form in my head, but I'm just translating this for you in slow motion. As he's tearing my head off, the reflex that's coming out of my leg, I can feel it developing, is one that turns and drops right there. And I could not fabricate that. I could not creatively just say, oh, this is what I'll do. It's a felt sense. You feel it in the body. You feel the sense of off balance. You feel the sense of being taken into extreme positions where you're at grave disadvantage. And then you feel it percolate up out of your unconscious, out of your body consciousness. And that's what Aikido is training you for. We think that it's all about, I get to be boss and control him and move him over here and do this technique and do that stuff to him. It's not really that. It's about the internalization of the skills that when you are completely lost, you still have good options. You still have subconscious reflexes that say, well, you're falling anyway, might as well try this. That's where it really percolates up. That's where it really comes out in its most amazing form, at least to me. As a physical expression of self-defense, when you can work from the deepest pit, from the greatest hole, from the worst conditions possible, and still wind up in a position of advantage from that, without any sort of tomfoolery or trickery, it's just the natural reflex coming out of your body, then you know, you have a deep self-confidence that the Aikido that you're learning and that you have imbued in your nervous system will hold you in good stead in life. And that builds a profound sense of confidence. So, I hope that you make that the goal in your Aikido. You explore these corners and you explore the reflex activity that comes out of being Torei in these particular ways and out of being Uke and out of suffering the positions of off balance to such a degree that they are no longer your enemy. That in fact the positions of off balance themselves start to look like opportunities and friends and engagements and places that you like to go visit. Because there is where the Aikido really gets juicy, really comes alive, really starts building to fruition. really starts becoming something that you can engage in a deeper and more profound way. So, thank you very much.